Right, sorry.
Right, I think we're there. We're started on Facebook. It's zooming to Facebook. For
Oh,
those who have only
dancing.
just joined, I don't know why I'm hearing myself twice here, but I am.
Because it's that one.
No, is it? We have worldwide Zoom problems, which we're going to proceed instead. We're going to ignore it as best as possible. People will need to mute themselves because I can't do it. And I'm going to ask the first person to sing is Aileen Carr. So can you unmute yourself, or maybe you're unmuted already, Aileen? I'm welcoming Aileen from the other side of the tape, from me, to sing a ballad.
This is a ballad that, well, I heard it sung a lot when I was much younger and first singing. It's a great song. You don't hear it sung as often. It's got a chorus you can sit and sing on your own. And it's a version of The Trooper and the Maid. A trooper lad come here in night, where riding he was a wee bit high. A trooper lad come here in night, where riding he was wee. That's still too high. Sorry, I'm really sorry. A trooper lad come here in night, where riding he was weary. A trooper lad come here in night, when the moon shone bright and clearly. Bonny lassie, I'll lie near ye yet. Bonny lassie, I'll lie near ye, and I'll gar your ribbons reel. In the morning ere I leave ye. She's ta'en his high horse by the heat, and led it to the stable. She's gien it corn and hay to eat, as muckle as it was able. Bonny lassie, I'll lie near ye yet. Bonny lassie, I'll lie near ye, and I'll gar your ribbons reel. In the morning ere I leave ye. She's ta'en the trooper by the hand, she's led him to his chamber, she's gien him bread and wine to drink, and the wine it was like amber. Bonny lassie, I'll lie near ye yet. Bonny lassie, I'll lie near ye, and I'll gar your ribbons reel. In the morning ere I leave ye. She's made his bed baith lang and wide, she's made it like a lady. She's ta'en her wee coat ower her head, saying, Trooper, are ye ready? Bonny lassie, I'll lie near ye yet. Bonny lassie, I'll lie near ye, and I'll gar your ribbons reel. In the morning ere I leave ye. He's ta'en off his big top coat, likewise his hat and feather. He's ta'en his broadside sword frae his side, and now he's down aside her. Bonny lassie, I'll lie near ye yet. Bonny lassie, I'll lie near ye, and I'll gar your ribbons reel. In the morning ere I leave ye. They hadna been an hour to sleep, an hour and half a quarter, when the drums come sounding through the tune, and ilka beat grew shorter. Bonny lassie, I'll lie near ye yet. Bonny lassie, I'll lie near ye, and I'll gar your ribbons reel. In the morning ere I leave ye. Up, 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 and her colonel cries, up, 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 and away. Up, 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 and her colonel cries, for the morn's her battle day. Bonnie lassie, I'll lie near ye. Bonnie lassie, I'll lie near ye, and I'll get your ribbons reel. In the morning ere I leave. Oh, when will ye come back again? Dear soldier laddie, oh, when will you come back again and be a bairnie's daddy? Oh, hud your tongue, my bonny lass, ne'er let this parting grieve ye, when heather cows grouse ows and bows. Then I'll come back and see. Bonnie lassie, I'll lie near ye yet. Bonnie lassie, I'll lie near ye, and I'll get your ribbons reel. In the morning ere I leave ye.
Great, Aileen. Fantastic. Can you mute yourself after you've done that? I am seemingly getting a bit of control. Where's all this double speech coming from? I don't know where all this sound's coming from. I seem to be getting double sound here, and I don't know why.
We're not hearing you like that.
You're not hearing me.
No,
You can't hear me.
We're only hearing you in single.
No, I'm hearing him all echoey.
Are you? Oh.
Yeah. It's because he said something about the people going to religious services.
One of them's enough.
He has a godlike echo.
Sorry, Pete, I'm not. It's Mark Darius here again. I'm not sure if you're aware. You can actually see our video on the live stream on Facebook, but not in the chat, which is bizarre. You're muted now. In case you're responding to me, I can't hear you.
Pete's muted his mic.
Pete, you're muted at the moment, Pete.
Yeah, that's extraordinary, Dara. So Facebook, all our pictures show.
Yes, so the world can see us, but we can't see each other.
Aye. Yeah. Maybe
Pete
that's
is muted
why...
at the moment.
Pete,
can you hear us?
Pete, you're
muted. Can't hear him.
He can't
Pete,
tell us.
I can see on a 30-second delay that Pete is talking in the live stream on Facebook.
Sorry, I'm going to get this better sorted here. I'm going to mute all, which I hope won't mute me. Right. Everyone's muted except me. It's beginning to work. Those of you who are watching on Facebook here will not realize, but Zoom is having worldwide problems and we're having problems working Zoom. So you can probably see us better than we can see ourselves, which is interesting. I can see that John Roberts has a microphone open. John, would you like to give us a ballad?
I could give you a ballad.
I would. Now, John Roberts wasn't with us the last couple of days.
I was with you on Facebook, actually, but I wasn't participating.
John, explain where you are nowadays.
I'm in upstate New York, and a few of you know me.
I certainly met you years ago.
We met a few times, and in fact, when you played at Old Songs, I believe it was the last time. I also met Bob Blair at the Old Songs Festival, and I'd like to say hello, Bob. And so I sing mostly my sort of native British ballads with a bunch of American. I thought I'd sing you. This is an American version from the Adirondacks, just north of me in New York State, that I sort of pieced together from a field recording of Marjorie Porter. It was recorded on tape around 1949, well, on whatever they were using then, around 1949. It's a version of Johnny Barber or William Winsbury. So
on you go, fantastic.
Let's see. I have a little cheat to find a key. There was a lady lived in the east, and the dress was of the green, and every town that she roamed through, they took her to be some queen, they took her to be some queen. And as she sat on her father's castle wall, viewing the ships come in. Says her father to her, "Oh, daughter dear, what makes your cheeks look so pale and so thin? Makes your cheeks look so pale and so thin? Is it some sickness you have got, or in love with some young man?" "Oh, it is no sickness, dear father," she says. "I'm in love with a fine young man. I'm in love with a fine young man." "Oh, is he a lord, or is he a duke, or a man of honour and fame?" "Neither the lord nor duke, dear father," she says. "He's one of your Baldsea boys, Johnny Barber, it is his name." "Then I'll call together my merry men all, by one, by two, and by three, and tomorrow morning at 10 of the clock, high hanged he will be, high hanged he will be." "Oh, say not so, dear father," she says. "Oh, say not so unto me. For if you should hang Johnny Barber," she said, "no good you'll get of me, no good you'll get of me." But he's called together his merry men all, by one, by two, and by three. Johnny Barber used to be the foremost man, but the very last man was he, the very last man was he. And as a little Johnny Barber he came down, his suit was of the green, and his coal-black eyes are rolling in his head, his skin as fair as the cream, his skin as fair as the cream. "Oh, daughter dear, I don't blame you for being in love with him, for if I were one of the female kind, my companion he would have been, my companion he would have been. And will you marry my daughter?" the king he said. "Would you take her by the hand? Will you walk? Will you talk? Will you marry with her? And be heir to my houses and my land, be the heir to my houses and my land." "I will marry your daughter," John Barber said. "I will take her by the hand. I will walk, I will talk, I will marry with her. But a fig for your houses and your land, a fig for your houses and your land. For although I'm called John Barber here, I am the Duke of New Cumberland. And before you can give her 1 guinea, I can give her 1,000 in hand. I can give her 1,000 in hand. A happy ending for you.
Thanks very much, John. Fantastic. It's great to hear you. No problem there. We're gradually beginning to see more people here and admitting more people. That was. I'm going to ask Jerry O'Reilly to sing in a minute. What I think is quite nice, if you can do this, if you have access to the chat line, you could put into that in a direct note to me what ballad you would like to sing. That would be great. Or else you can put a yes tick against your name to say you would like to be asked. Someone even changed their name to have Annie Boyle in brackets listener audience. So they've indicated to me what they wish or not. So there we go. I'm going to ask, as I said, Jerry O'Reilly in Dublin to sing. He's already told me what he'd like to sing. I'm going to unmute him now. How are you, Jerry?
Very well, Pete. Thank you very much.
That's great.
This is a ballad collected by Tom Mundy and Hugh Shields in November 1970 from a man called Frank Feeney, and it's a version of Prince Robert. It's Lord of War and Mary Flynn. Lord of War and Mary Flynn, they both were children young. They were scarcely 14 years of age when love between them sprung. When love between them sprung. Lord of War was going out one day. His mother she came to know. You are going away, my son, she said. You will drink before you go. You will drink before you go. She fetched a bottle of the finest wine and filled at last for him. With her faults, with her 2 fingers, she put strong poison in. She put strong poison in. Oh why, dear mother, he said, have you poisoned me full sore? Oh, indeed it's so, my son, she said, you'll see Mary Flynn no more. You'll see Mary Flynn no more. Is there anybody in this house, he said, will go on a message for me? We'll go to Mary Flynn's high tower and bring her here to me, and bring her here to me. Up spoke a pretty-faced little boy, he was his sister's son. Oh, it's often I've gone on your message before, but now I have need to run. But now I have need to run. And when he came to Mary Flynn's tower, he stepped into the hall. The tables were laid and the music played. The ladies were dancing all. The ladies were dancing all. What brought you here, Mary Flynn, she said. What brought you here to me? Has my grandmother set a place for you, or yet invited thee, or yet invited thee? Your grandmother set no place for me, or invited me, he said. It was then she learned from the pretty little boy that Lord of War was dead, that Lord of War was dead. Come saddle for me the finest steed, come saddle for me the bay, that I may ride to Lord of War's tower without the least delay, without the least delay. And when she came to Lord of War's tower, she stepped into the hall. The tables were laid, but the sheets were spread. The candles were burning all. The candles were burning all. What brought you here, his mother, she said. What brought you here to me? Oh, the ring from off his little finger, I came to crave of thee. I came to crave of thee. No ring, Mary Flynn, she said, no ring have I kept for thee. For the pain of death, it came so fast, it split the ring in three. It split the ring in three. She laid her feet down by his feet, her side down by his side. She laid her cheek down by his cheek. Then Mary Flynn, she died. Then Mary Flynn, she died.
There we go. Fantastic there. I'm going to actually change my mind slightly about who I was going to ask next. Nora, are you there? Is Nora there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. That's great. If you can unmute yourself, which you have done.
Yes.
This is Nora Rhodes from Pittsburgh.
Yes.
I heard her yesterday.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Let me just. Okay.
There you go.
Yes. Sorry, it's a bit of a change today, you know, to try and find a system that works. So I'm using my brother's study, but a little bit cluttered. Okay. Sorry. There we go. Yes. So today I wanted to sing for you Little Margaret, which is an Appalachian version of Lady Margaret and Sweet William, which is Child 74. And I learned this from my first folk mentor, Ellen Goshen, who learned it from Sheila K. Adams. And this is also the version that Peggy Seeger sings. Little Margaret sitting in her high hall chair, combing back her long yellow hair. She saw sweet William and his new made bride, riding up the road so near. She threw down her ivory comb, threw back her long yellow hair, said, I'll go down and I'll bid him farewell, and I'll never more go there. It was late in the night, they were fast asleep. Little Margaret appeared all dressed in white, standing by their bed feet. Says, how do you like your snow white pillow? How do you like your sheet? And how do you like that pretty fair maid who lies in your arms asleep? Very well do I like my snow white pillow, better do I like my sheet, but best do I like that pretty fair maid who stands at my bed feet. He called his serving man to go, saddled the dapple roan, and he rode to her father's house that night, and he knocked on the door alone. Says, is little Margaret in her room, or is she in the hall? Little Margaret's laying in her long black coffin, with her face towards the wall. Unfold, unfold those snow white robes, be they ever so fine, for I would kiss those cold, cold lips. Now I know they'll never kiss mine. 3 times he kissed her cold, cold hand, and twice he kissed her cheek, and once he kissed her cold, cold lips, and then he fell in her arms asleep. Thank you.
Thanks, Nora. Fantastic. Excellent. Well done. Right, I'm going to ask Marianne McAleer to sing a ballad. Now, this is not strictly a child ballad, as she tells me. Marianne, can you unmute yourself, or I shall? But it's one that that I don't think Child actually knew about,
Ah,
but it's a lovely one.
okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. On you go.
Okay. A wealthy squire lived in our town. He was a man of high renown. He had one daughter, beauty bright, and the name he called her was his heart's delight. Though many a young man to court her came, not one of those could her favour gain, till along came one of a low degree, and above all others, why she fancied he. But when her father he came to know that his only daughter loved this young man so, over 50 miles he sent her away, all to deprive them of their wedding day. One night as she lay in her bedroom, her love appeared from out the gloom. He touched her hand and to her did say, "Arise, my love, and come away." 'Twas with this young man she leapt up behind, and they rode faster than any wind. They rode on for an hour or more, until he cried, "My love, my head feels sore." A holland handkerchief she then drew out, and with it wrapped his aching head about. She kissed his lips, and to him did say, "My love, you are colder than any clay." And when they came to her father's gate, get down, love, for the hour is late. Get down, love, and go to bed, and I'll see this gallant horse is groomed and fed. And when she knocked at her father's hall, "Who's there? Who's there?" her own father did call. "'Tis I, dear father, didn't you send for me by such a messenger, and naming he?" "Oh no, dear daughter, that can never be. Your words are false and you lie to me. For on yon far mountain your young man died, and in yon green valley his body lies. Sad truth then dawned on this maiden brave, and with her hands she exposed the grave, and lay her young Hand on ein Monster with a Holland handkerchief around his head. Woe to all parents, as I say still, to rob young lovers of their own free will. For once those promises and vows they give, they cannot recall them back while they live.
Great, Marianne, fantastic, lovely. That's brilliant. Right, I'm wondering whether Charlie Baum would like to sing. Charlie, are you there?
Sure.
Great.
Sure.
Charlie Baum, tell us where you are and give us a song.
Well, I'm in Maryland in the USA, Silver Spring, Maryland, but I grew up in Connecticut, and thanks to the wonders of Zoom background, Lisa and I are actually sitting on the back porch of the house I grew up in Connecticut, or a photograph thereof. I'm going to sing. Well, one of the great ballad collectors in New England was Helen Hartness Flanders. Actually, Louise Linscott also collected here, and each of them collected from a woman in Naugatuck, Connecticut. And she's, of all the informants they collected from, she's the one who lived closest to where I grew up. Her name was Mrs. Edwin White. She lived on Rubber Avenue in Naugatuck, Connecticut. Naugatuck was the home of U.S. Rubber, which then invented an artificial leather called Naugahyde, named after the town. And she has a version of the Two Sisters. And I love her version of the Two Sisters because it has verses you don't hear elsewhere. There was a man lived in the West, bow down, bow down. There was a man lived in the West, declaring unto me. There was a man who lived in the West, he had 2 daughters of the best. I will be true, true to my love, if my love will be true to me. A miller he courted the eldest first, bow down, bow down. A miller he courted the eldest first, declaring unto me. A miller he courted the eldest first, but still he loved the youngest best. I will be true, true to my love, if my love will be true to me. He gave the youngest a ruffled cap, bow down, bow down. He gave the youngest a ruffled cap, declaring unto me. He gave the youngest a ruffled cap, the eldest one she didn't like that. I will be true, true to my love, if my love will be true to me. He gave the youngest a gay gold ring, bow down, bow down. He gave the youngest a gay gold ring, declaring unto me. He gave the youngest a gay gold ring, and to the eldest he gave no thing. I will be true, true to my love, if my love will be true to me. The eldest said, I'll be his bride, bow down, bow down. The eldest said, I'll be his bride, declaring unto me. The eldest said, I'll be his bride. The young one, she sat down and cried, I will be true, true to my love, if my love will be true to me. They took a walk by the river's brim, bow down, bow down. They took a walk by the river's brim, declaring unto me. They took a walk by the river's brim, the eldest shoved the young one in. I will be true, true to my love, if my love will be true to me. She floated down to the miller's dam, bow down, bow down. She floated down to the miller's dam, declaring unto me. She floated down to the miller's dam, the miller watched her as she swam. I will be true, true to my love, if my love will be true to me. The miller he threw out a line and hook, bow down, bow down. The miller he threw out a line and hook, declaring unto me. The miller he threw out a line and hook, and fished her from the watery brook. I will be true, true to my love, if my love will be true to me. Hand in hand to the church they went, bow down, bow down. Hand in hand to the church they went, declaring unto me. Hand in hand to the church they went, they took their vows and were content. I will be true, true to my love, if my love will be true to me. The eldest rushed to the riverside, bow down, bow down. The eldest rushed to the riverside, declaring unto me. The eldest rushed to the riverside, she dove, she sank, and thus she died. I will be true, true to my love, if my love will be true to me. Mrs. Edwin Miller, the two sisters. Sorry, Mrs. Edwin White, the two sisters.
Excellent, great stuff. I used to know a version like that as well, which I sang 50 years ago. It's a great song to sing. That sort of version with the bow down and so on. I don't know where I learned it from.
That is a happy
I have
ending.
no idea,
Oh, God.
but it was a long time ago. Right, thanks very much. I'm wondering whether I could ask Debbie Armour to sing. Debbie was given passed. I was passed Debbie's name by Alistair Roberts last
Yeah,
night.
he's not here. He
I
says
know,
he's having all sorts of
but
technical
he's got a
problems.
young baby.
He sure does. He sure does. He's got a bit to go before he catches up with the number of babies in this house, but yeah, he's got one. He's on his way to total chaos.
Anyway, tell us about yourself, Debbie, and what would you like to? What ballad would
So I am a traditional singer, and I sing lots of different things, and mostly British traditional in most of the languages of the British Isles, if I possibly can. And I might just maybe I'll do something a bit classic. Maybe I'll do a classic. I think it's an Irish version of Sweet William's Ghost, Lady Margaret.
Okay.
Different Lady Margaret from you.
Great.
Lady Margaret, she lay in her fine feather bed. The midnight hour drew near, when a grisly ghost came to her room, and to her it did appear, and to her it did appear. Are you my father, the king, she said? Are you my brother John? Or are you my true love, William, she said? Coming home from Scotland along, along, coming home from Scotland along. I'm not your father, the king, he said. I am not your brother John, but I am your true love, William, he said. Coming home from Scotland along, along, coming home from Scotland along. Margaret, oh Lady Margaret, he said, for love or charity, will you give me back the plighted troth that once love I gave thee, that once love I gave thee? I'll not give you back your plighted troth, nor any such a thing, until you bring me to the high churchyard, and wed me with a ring, and wed me with a ring. So he's brought her to yon high churchyard, and as they've entered in, the gates flew open of their own sweet will, for to let young William in, for to let young William in. Margaret, oh Lady Margaret, he said, for love or charity, will you give me back the plighted troth that once love I gave thee, that once love I gave thee. Then out of her pocket she drew a cross, and she laid it on his breast, saying, "Here is back your plighted troth, and in heaven may your soul find rest, and in heaven may your soul find rest." Oh, the cock does crow, and the wind does blow, and it's almost break of day, and it's time for the living to part from the dead. So now, my love, I must away, away. So now, my love, I must away. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Beautiful, beautiful ballad. Lovely. Excellent altogether. Thank you. I'm sure that was absolutely tremendous. I'm going to ask another singer to sing, and then I'm going to hand over to Jimmy Hutchison, who's co-hosting. We had a great problem setting this up this morning, but I've just signed him in as co-host. After Richard, I'm going to ask Richard Spencer to sing a song. Okay, can you unmute yourself, Richard?
My wife's already done it, yeah.
That's great. And I shall mute myself, and we'll see how this goes. Thanks very much.
Okay. There was a squire in Edinburgh town, and a squire of high degree, who came a-courting a lady gay, though fortune small had he. And when her father he came to hear, why an angry man was he demanded of his daughter dear that she shun his company. And it's of a farmer all in the west, and he had one only son, who came a-courting this lady gay, the wooing gave her none. He wooed her father, wooed her kin, but yet I've heard men say he would not woo the lass herself until their wedding day. And he gained consent of father and mother, of old and young likewise, till the lady said, "I am undone," and the tears fell from her eyes. So she wrote a love a letter, and sealed it with her hand, saying, "My dearest dear, I'm going to be wed unto a farmer's son." And the very first line he read of it, he smiled and thus did say, I might deprive him of his bride, all on his wedding day. And he wrote his love an answer, saying, be sure to wed in green, and a coat of the same love I'll put on, at your wedding I'll be seen. A coat of the same love I'll put on, at your wedding I'll repair. Believe me, dear, I'll have you yet, in spite of all that's there. And he looked east and he looked west, he looked all around his land, and he gathered up in twos and threes 80 of his men. And he's mounted them two to every horse, but a single man rode he. And away from Edinburgh town in the green-clad company. And when that he came to the wedding house, they unto him did say, you're welcome here, you're welcome here. Did you come alone to this day? He laughed at them, he smiled at them, he scorned and thus did say, You might have seen my green-clad troop come riding out this way. And he's got himself a glass of wine, and he filled it to the brim, saying, here is a health unto that man, the man they call the groom. Here is a health unto that man that would enjoy his bride, though another one loved her twice as well, and might take her from his side. And then up spoke the intended groom, and an angry man was he, saying, if it's for a fight that you've come here, well, I'm the man for thee. Oh, it's not for a fight that I've come here, but friendship for to show. But give me one kiss of your bride's bonny lips, and away from here I'll go. And he's taken her by the middle so small, and by the grass green sleeve, and he's taken her out of the wedding house, and asked for no man's leave. He's taken her by the lily white hand, and by the grass green sleeve, and away to Edinburgh town in the green-clad company. And they laughed at the groom, they smiled at him, they scorned and thus did say, oh, it must have been some fairy troop come riding out this way. Oh, it must have been some fairy troop come stole your bride away.
Great, Richard. Thanks very much. Fantastic. I'm going to hand over to Jimmy now.
Pete, Jimmy doesn't think he can get on.
He
thinks he's not on, but I think you should try.
Jimmy, can you hear me?
He's on the phone.
I'm going to temporarily unmute all to see if that helps get Jimmy online. Jimmy, can you hear me? Don't anyone else speak. Jimmy, can you hear me? No, here. Jimmy can't hear me. No, Jimmy, I suggest you leave it online to see if it comes into place. It might come in as everyone else did. Lena, can you just tell Jimmy that, all right?
He was trying to connect.
Yes.
I had trouble getting on, so I came out of it completely and came back on.
That's what we did.
It seemed to sort itself out.
I'll suggest Jimmy's only just tried to get in for the second time and it hasn't worked.
Yeah, maybe other people could try as well.
Yes, that worked for us.
No, but it still isn't. I think Jimmy, tell Jimmy to leave himself online, it'll probably come in. I'll try it again in a wee minute. Right. Can
I just repeat Bob Blair here? I had trouble getting on this morning. Still, I'm having trouble off because I looked at a mini iPad. But I've covered that. I think Zoom has done a recent update on their application, and I updated the application on the iPad that I'm using now, and that seems to be working. So it might be.
Well, that could be, but since you're online, Bob, can I get you to sing the ballad you were just about to sing? Are you ready for that? Bob, I'm going to unmute. I'm going to mute all, and then you can make sure you unmute yourself. All right?
Very, very crafty.
Very crafty.
Because I'm still.
Bob's unmuted now. That's great.
I'm still waiting on my grocery delivery to come in.
You're just have to wait. Very pleased to welcome Bob Blair, who's a wonderful singer who's been singing for many years, as we know. On you go, Bob. And I know you've got a ballad lined up for us, I'm sure.
I was half changing my mind, actually, because I sent you a wee note about it, and I said ballads were my favourite. Well, maybe after the love songs, but when you combine them both, that really makes a tremendous song. So I think I'll change my mind. I was going to sing Thomas the Rhymer, but it's far too hard to sing.
If it's up to you.
Yeah. Well, what I'll do is I'll sing. This is a song for years. I spent many happy nights at the Singers Club when I came to leave the South. I went for what I thought and subsequently turned out to be true the last night at our seat, the Singers Club. And Ewan and Peggy were hosting it that night, and Ewan sang this song. He didn't introduce it as a ballad, But at the end, I went up to him and said, "Where did you get that, Ewan? It was such a tremendous song." And he said, "Oh, it's in Child, Bob," you know. And I thought, in Child? Christ, the Critics Group has spent months, every so often you'd go through all the books looking for songs that nobody else had. So I couldn't wait to get home and I look up a copy of Child, and there it was, Young Peggy, as Child calls it, 3 verses. Not the long version that Ewan had, you know. And I thought, bastard, where did he get that? And so when he came up to Glasgow subsequently, when I was living up there, and I went up there, obviously I went to see him and I said, "Yeah, come on, where did you get Bonnie Peggy or Young Peggy?" And he said, I said, "You said it was in Child, but there's only 3 verses." And as is his wont, he turns to Peggy and says, "Where did we get that, Peggy, again?" "Oh yeah, Bob, Burns and Togo Crawford. You know, you'll find it in the School of Scottish Studies." So I thought, Christ, right, Burns and Togo Crawford, you know, in the school, look up the Burns and Togo Crawford collection, nay, Bonnie Peggy, you know. So I became convinced that Ewan had written it himself, and who had written most of it himself, but in my opinion, who better than him to write a ballad? Anyway, I actually said, I think I said so in the notes of a CD I issued some years ago, and out of the blue one day arrived this photocopy of a manuscript, you know, handwritten. It might have been fake, but it didn't look fake, and it was almost a complete version of Young Peggy, including substantially what McCall had sung. And I couldn't believe it. I've never found out who sent it to me or where it came. I think somebody said subsequently it looked to be a page from Chambers manuscripts. But anyway, it's a tremendous song. If people have never heard me sing it, it's the lassie fancies a bloke that doesn't meet with her parents' approval, and she goes off with him anyway, and the father chases after them. And at the end of the song, after he's chased after them, it says, "Lang ere they came to the top of the hill, the lad and lass were yin." And you didn't get a better ending to any love song than a lad and lass being yin. Young Peggy. Where hae you been, Peggy? Where hae you been? And the garden man, the gully floors, tween the hours o' 12 and 10. Ye werena your lane, Peggy, no there your lane. Your feather saw in Jimmy's arms, tween the hours o' 12 and 10. What though we were seen, mother, though we were seen, for I would lie in Jimmy's arms, though feathers grave was growing green. Your Jimmy's a rogue, Peggy, Jimmy's a loon, for the trysting o'er a docht her, and she sae very young. Jimmy's no to blame, mother, the blame lies on me. And I would lie in Jimmy's arms, though all the world should die. She's gone to her chamber, and Jimmy was there. I'm blithe to see ye, Jimmy love, though we mun meet nae mair. We'll tak a pert and glass, laddie, pour out the wine, And since we mun meet nae mair, my love, I'll drink your health and mine. Tak me in your arms, laddie, here's kisses 5. And while the sun hangs in the left, I'm sure we'll always thrive. Come to my arms, Peggy, close to my heart, and while the sun hangs in the left, I'll swear we'll never part. Your feather keeps a crowing cock, divides night fae day, and in the middle watch o' the night, in the greenwood you'll meet me. When mass was sung and bells were rung, and all were bound to bed, she's killed at up our gay cloven, met Jimmy in the wood. 'Twas early in the morning, the clock chapped 2. Her father rose up in his bed, cried Peggy, she's awa'. He's mounted his horse and fast he did run, but long ere he come to the top of the hill, the lad and lass were in. Bonnie Peggy.
Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, Bob. Thank you. I must admit, I don't mind you changing your mind there. That was really lovely. I wonder if Erica is handy. Are you there, Erica? Would you like to make yourself available? I can't see Erica at the moment. Erica?
I'm on Rowan's, or no, I'm on my phone. It's come up as a different one, I think.
That's fine. I probably changed the wrong name. I think anyway, it doesn't matter. You're there. Erica Douglas, who's down in Kirkcaldy. How about singing us a nice ballad, Erica?
Okay, has anybody sung Lord Donald?
No.
Okay, I'll sing a version of Lord Donald, so. Oh, where hae ye been, Lord Donald, my son? Oh, where hae ye been, my jolly young man? I hae been a walkerton, Mother, mark my bed soon, for I'm sick at the head, and fine word I done. What got ye your supper, Lord Donald, my son? What got ye your supper, my jolly young man? I dined with my sweetheart, Mother, mark my bed soon, for I'm sick at the head, and fine word I done. What got ye for supper, Lord Donald, my son? What got ye for your supper, my jolly young man? Oh, a dish of small fishes, Mother, mark my bed sin, for I'm sick at the heart, and find where Leiden. What like were those fishes, Lord Donald, my son? What like were those fishes, my jolly young man? Blackbacks and speckled bellies, Mother, mark my bed sin, for I'm sick at the heart, and fain would Leiden. Oh, I feared ye are poisoned, Lord Donald, my son. Oh, I feared ye are poisoned, my jolly young man. Oh, yes, I am poisoned, Mother, mark my bed sin, for I'm sick at the heart, and fain would Leiden. What'll you leave to your brother, Lord Donald, my son? What'll you leave to your brother, my jolly young man? All my horses and all my land, Mother, mark my bed sin, for I'm sick at the heart, and fain would Leiden. What'll you leave to your sister, Lord Donald, my son? What'll you leave to your sister, my jolly young man? My horses and saddles, Mother, mark my bed sin, for I'm sick at the heart, and fain would Leiden. What'll you leave to your sweetheart, Lord Donald, my son? What'll you leave to your sweetheart, my jolly young man? The tow and the halter that hangs on yon tree, and there she will hang for the poisoning o' me. Lord
Fine,
Donald.
Erica. Well done. Thank you. Great old ballad. amazingly still quite popular and sung by traditional singers in various forms, one or another. Well, I think I'm going to sing one this time. How about that? I've loved collecting songs for 50 years or whatever. I come originally from Gloucestershire, but came to university in Scotland in 1960, but still kept going down to Gloucestershire, and I'd started collecting songs in Ireland and Scotland, and when I was down south one time, my father said to me, "Don't the English gypsies have songs?" And I said, "Well, can I borrow the car, Mum?" And with my little tape recorder, I jaunted around, and within an hour I was sitting in a traveller's caravan. And the next day she sent me to meet her father and brothers, and that's why I met a family called the Brazil family. They had travelled in Ireland until about the 1920, when they left Ireland because of the troubles there, came back to Gloucester where they'd originally come from, sold all their horses that they brought from Ireland, and settled down trading one way or another in around Gloucester area. And Danny Brazil I got on tremendously well with, and he took me to meet all the singers that he knew that he thought I might like to meet. And one day he took me to meet a guy called Denny Smith, and he said, "Don't tell anyone don't tell his family that I'm going to introduce you to Denny, because they'd had all sorts of trouble between the Smiths and the Brazils." I suppose this shouldn't be going out live on Facebook, but it is. But he did, and at about 5:30 on an afternoon, there in a pub in the middle of Gloucester, there was not many people in the pub. There was myself, Danny Brazil, and Denny Smith, and an Irishman the other side of the bar, who didn't at all like it when Denny Smith started singing a couple of long ballads. One was a Robin Hood ballad, but this is the one that I'm going to sing. It's actually quite well known, and has been collected over the years quite widely. And it was printed back in the 1800s on broadsheets, as often ballads were. This is Lord Bateman, and it tells a really interesting story about a guy who goes to the east, to Turkey, and ends up getting thrown into prison. I particularly liked the way Denny sang this. Here we go. Lord Bateman was, oh, a noble lord of high degree. He set his foot on a board of shipping, some foreign country he would go and see. Now he sailed east, oh, and he sailed west, until he came to proud Turkey. There he was locked up and put in prison, until his dear life it was all weary. Now in this prison there growed a tree. It growed so stout and very strong, and he was chained it all around the middle, until his dear life it was almost gone. Now the jail keeper, he had one only daughter of high degree. She stole the keys of her father's prison, and swore Lord Bateman that she would set free. And when she came up to Lord Bateman's prison, she knelt down upon her bended knee. Oh, what would you give to a fair young maiden, that out of prison she would set you free? Oh, I have houses and I have lands, part of Northumberland belongs to me. I would give it all to a fair young maiden, that out of prison she would set me free. Oh, then 7 long years I would make a promise, and 7 days more I would keep it fine. If you would wed with no other woman, then I would wed with no other man. Then she took him to her father's parlour. She gave him the best of bread and wine, and every time that she raised the glass, she said, "Oh, Lord Bateman, I'll wish you were mine." Then she took him to her father's harbour. She gave him the ship of noted fame, and as he sailed it out o'er the ocean, she said, "O Lord Bateman, I'll ne'er see you again." Now 7 long years they were gone and past, and 7 days more they were come at last, and she's gathered up all her rich gay clothing, and to Northumberland she sailed on. She sailed east and she sailed west, until she came to Northumberland, and there she spied was the finest castle that ever two eyes had set upon. And when she came up to Lord Bateman's castle, she boldly knocked all at the bell. There was none so ready as that young proud porter to answer that gay lady at the door. "Oh, is this Lord Bateman's castle? And is Lord Bateman himself within?" "Oh, yes, a gay lady, he's just returning, for he's just taken his new bride in." "Oh, ask him to bring me a glass of wine, and ask him to bring me a glass of wine, in remembrance of, oh, a fair young maiden that released him from prison whilst he was close confined." Then away and away went this young proud porter, away and away and away went he, until he came to Lord Bateman's parlour, and he knelt down upon his bended knee. "Oh, what news, my young proud porter? What news would you tell to me?" "Oh, at your door is the finest lady that ever my two eyes had set upon. For she has got rings on every finger, and on some of them she has got 3. She's as much gay gold hanging round her middle that would buy all of this half-wild country." Oh, jugs and bottles he did let fly, swords and bottles he did let fly. Oh, my proud young Susan, my proud young Susan, my proud young Susan, she's across the sea. Oh, the bells did a ring and the bands did a play. Lord Bateman married 2 wives one day. Well, there you go. Well, there you go. I don't know who to ask next. Yes, I do. I think I have it written down here. Who was I going to ask? Oh, I know. Lisa Null. Lisa Null is going to sing us a song from across the other side of the water, of course. Lisa, can you unmute yourself? Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Right, great.
Give me a-
I need a bit of relaxation after singing that. Carry on, Lisa.
I'm going to sing the Border Widow's Lament. This version comes from, I can't find it on my bookshelf right now, but it's Folk Songs of the Southwest. I think it comes from Oklahoma. One thing I like about the American ballads, when I listen to the Scots ballads, they're usually so big and fulsome, intricate, and they tell the whole story. I sometimes think that the American versions compress and tighten everything up till you have very little left than the emotional core of them. And this is sort of a version rather like that. My love, he built me a bonny bower, and he clad it with a lily flower. A better bower ye ne'er did see than that my knight he built for me. There came a man by middle day. He saw my night and he went away. He brought the king that very night, who broke my bower and slew my knight. He slew my knight, to me so dear. He broke my bower, to me so dear. My servants for their lives did flee, and left me in extremity. I sewed his sheet, making my moan. I watched his corpse, myself alone. I watched his corpse by night and day. No living creature came that way. I took his body all on my back, the while I rode, the while I sat. I dug a grave both wide and deep, and I buried him in the sod so green. No living man I'll love again, since my darling knight is slain. I'll take a lock of his yellow hair, and I'll bind my heart forevermore. Border Widow's Lament.
Thanks very much, Lisa. I wonder whether Doogie's around. Are you there, Doogie? Doogie McKenzie? Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Can you unmute yourself? Can you unmute yourself?
That should be me now.
Well, okay, that's fine. Doogie McKenzie, tell us where you are and give us this ballad.
Well, I'm in Inverness, and I'll just double check. I'm unmuted. I'm in Inverness, and I'd just like to thank everyone for all the singing so far. It's been a good job we got started, because it's been absolutely fabulous. I'm going to sing the Dewi Denzi Arrow, and this version, not the version I used to sing many, many years ago, but it's a version I learned for the very first We Read Book concert, and this is a version that's in Norman Buchan's We Read Book. So here we are, Dewi Denzi Arrow. Most of you will know the story. There was a lady in the north, I never could find her marrow. So I'm going to bring it down a bit, sorry about that. There was a lady in the north, I never could find her marrow. She was courted by 9 gentlemen, and a blue boy lad frae Yarrow. These 9 sat drinking at the wine, sat drinking a wine on Yarrow, and she there they made a solemn vow to fight for her on Yarrow. She washed his face and she combed his hair, of time she's done before, oh, and she made him like a knight sae brave, te vecht for her on Yarrow. Now he's gaed up yon high, high hill, down by the berries o Yarrow, and there he saw nine armed men come to fecht with him on Yarrow. Well, it's 3 he slew, and 3 they flew. It's 3 he's a wounded sairly, till a brother John came in beyond, and murdered him most foully. Oh, faith dear, a dream, a dream of dole and sorrow. I dreamed I was pulling heather bells on the dowie dens o Yarrow. Oh, doctor dear, I've ready a dream. I do it well bring the sorrow. Off a Yarrow true love lies pale and wan on the dowie dens o Yarrow. Now she's get up yon high, high hill, down by the Dukes o Yarrow, and there she saw her ain true love, lying pale and wan on Yarrow. Now her hair had been 3/4 long, the colour it was yellow. She's wrapped it round his middle sae small, and she bore him down to Yarrow. Oh, feather dear, you've 7 sons, you may marry them all the morrow, but the fairest flower among them all was a blue boy lad frae Yarrow. David Ends of
Yarrow. That's great, thank you. Chris, do you have a microphone that's working as far as you can see? And Jimmy, the same. I'm going to unmute all just for a minute to see if we can got Chris and Jimmy working.
I'm unmuted, but I've just finished eating crackers and cheese.
Jimmy, can you hear me?
Oh,
sorry, sweetheart. Jimmy, are you there?
Jimmy came in a minute ago, but I think he might have gone back out again.
Well, no, Jimmy's there, but I don't know if you can. I don't know if we can hear him. Jimmy?
Not there now.
Not there now. He's not there now, Pete.
Well, his name's there, but can you hear me, Jimmy?
Oh.
Chris, can I suggest you take over as host for a while?
Yeah, I can do that.
Right. I was going to ask, well, actually, I don't know who I was going to ask next. Shall I leave it to you?
And I'm trying to keep tabs on my list and actually who's there.
I know, it's not easy.
Really quite difficult.
I just asked Anne if she has a ballad to sing, and she does. You could ask Anne if you like.
Yeah, just fire away then, and I'll.
Right, Anne. Anne, you're. I'm gonna mute all now, and then Anne, you unmute yourself. All right. Right, that's unmuted.
Yeah, I've
Carry
missed
on,
half of
Anne,
it.
and then I'll let Chris take over from this.
I was going to tell you I missed half of the concert because I had no sound, but I've popped back in again. That's nice. This is a song that I got from Elizabeth Stewart, and it's called Jamie Foyers, and I think it speaks for all soldiers everywhere who die abroad and can't be buried at home. Far distant lies Scotia the brave, No tombstone memorial to hallow his grave. His bones they lie scattered o'er the rude soil of Spain, and young Jamie Foyers in battle lies slain. From the Perthshire militia to serve on the line, the bold 42nd we sailed for to join. To Wellington's army we did volunteer, with young Jamie Foyers, the bold halberdier. At night when we landed, the trumpets they did sound. Our general he commanded us to form on the ground, to storm Burgos Castle before the break of day. We young Jamie Foyers are lead on the way. It was the storming of the castle, for the scaling of the wall. A shot from a French gun made this young man fall. He's laid his right arm all o'er his left breast, and young Jamie Foyers his comrades addressed. To you, Robert Percy, that stands a campaign. If ever they should send you to Scotia again, you can tell my old father, if his heart beats warm, that his son Jamie Foyers expired in your arms. And if goodness should send you to Scotia again, you can tell my own mother, if her heart beats warm, you can tell my own mother, if her heart beats warm, that her son Jamie Foyers will never return. And if I had but a drink of Baker's brown ale, my thirst it would quench, and my fever it would quell. But life's purple current ebbs slowly, was ebbing so fast, that young Jamie Foyers, he soon breathed his last. We took for a winding sheet his bonny tartan blade, and in the cold ground this young man was laid. We covered his body as cold as the clay, and muttering young Foyers marched slowly away. The drums they may rattle, and the trumpets they may play, long will they be heard, for many's the day. No more will they beckon this young hero brave, for young Jamie Foyers lies cold in the grave. Far distant lies Scotia the brave. No tombstone memorial to hallow his grave. His bones they lie scattered on the rude soil of Spain, and young Jamie Foyers in battle lies slain. Jamie Foyers. Okay.
That's great. Thanks very much. And I'm going to hand over now to Chris for a while. If Chris can.
Yep, I'm finished the crackers and cheese. And I thought maybe it feels like being at the control of a spaceship or something here, Pete. That people coming in later, if you're mystified about the black screen, then we're just operating without being able to see each other. But we've been told that you're visible on Facebook, so don't relax too much. I think that Judith would like to sing a Sephardic ballad, and so I'd like to ask her if she would be able to sing that now. Judith,
Sure,
are you
I
there?
can do that now. Thanks for having me. It's really a pleasure. I'm just sitting here in, I don't know what to call it, spending a whole 2 hours listening to these fabulous ballad singers singing fabulous ballads. It's just such a treat. This is an old ballad. I actually don't really know any new ballads, so I guess I didn't have to say that. It's an old Sephardic ballad, and it goes back, not the tune, we don't know how old the tunes are, not that old, but the story goes back to at least the 1001 Nights, maybe earlier. And it's often called Sisters, Queen, and Captive, Hermanas Reina Cautiva. And it's a very complicated story. You have a pagan king, which of course in medieval Spanish balladry stands for Muslim king. And he's fighting a war up in the northwest of Spain. And he somehow has his small child with him, his baby. It's not really clear how this has happened. And so he gives the baby as a present to the Christian king. I mean, this is really super complicated. And the two women give birth on the same day, and the midwives switch the baby around so that the queen gets a boy, which she's supposed to have, and the slave girl, who is not really a slave, she's actually royalty herself, she gets the girl. And one day they're singing songs to the babies, and the slave said, well, if you were my baby, I would call you, and she names a name, and the queen says, what? That's my long lost sister's name. And it turns out that the slave is really the queen's long lost sister, and that they were both Christians captured by the Moors. It's all extremely complicated, but the funny thing about it is that it's almost disappeared in Spain and Portugal. And it's about Christians and Muslims, and it's sung only by Jews, by the descendants of the Jews who were expelled from Catholic Spain in 1492. And it does, by the way, there's a version that exists in Child, and maybe one of you knows this, but everybody I've asked tells me they've never heard a melody for it. It's at the very end of Child, and it's Blanche Flor and Jelly Flores is actually the name. It's Blanca Flor, the Ballad of Flor and Blanca Flor. And so there's words for it at the very, very end of Child, but nobody that I know, either, in living memory or on the internet or in any library has found a tune for it. So if you do, please contact me urgently and you can learn it before I do. Anyway, as I learned it from Hannah Pimienta, who is from Tangier and Gibraltar, but she moved in her 80s to join her children in Montreal, where I met her, and I was doing my doctoral dissertation work, and I learned this is, I think, the first ballad she sang for me at her kitchen table. And I remember it very, very clearly. It was about 1981, 1982, and she had a red checkered tablecloth, and she'd given me very weak tea, and I'm a coffee person, but in the interest of ethnographic fieldwork, I drank tea, and really sort of crumbly, dry cookies, and her canary was singing. And so all through my reel-to-reel tape of this recording, you can hear the canary kind of joining along, but not now. I'll do it sans canari. La reina sherifa mora, la que mora en Almería, dice que tiene deseos de una cristiana cautiva. Los moros cuando lo oyeron, de repente se partían. Unos se van para Francia y otros para la Almería. Ya matan al conde Flores y a la condesa traían. Mi señora la esclava que vos quería. Mis esclavas las llaves de mi despensa y mi cocina, yo las tomaré, señora, por la grande desdicha mía. Caer duquesa y marquesa, hoy esclava en la cocina, la reina quedó preñada y la esclava también ansina. Quiso Dios y la fortuna, las dos paren en un día, las negras de las comadres, para ganar su platica. Ya dan el niño a la reina, la esclava toma la niña, y ay mi niña, ay mi niña, ay mi niña de mi vida. Te nombrará Blanca Flor, nombre de una hermana mía. ¿Qué señas tiene tu hermana? ¿Y qué señas me daría? Tiene un lunar en el pecho, 3 vueltas le daría, y así se conocieron las 2 hermanas queridas. And the last bit says, how would I know you? What sign did your sister have? And she said, Madame Pimienta said to me, we spoke a mixture of French and Spanish, and she said, well, dice, tiene un lunar en el pecho. She has a mole on her breast, but I don't like to say breast. So I always say, tiene un lunar al brazo, ella sur le bras. I always say she just has a mole on her arm. So I will confess to having restored the mole on her breast ethnographic version in the interest of perhaps not tradition bearer authenticity, but historical faithfulness. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Judith. And I'd agree with you totally about restoring it to its rightful place. McDara, are you about?
I am indeed. I'm going to sing now. I am indeed, yes.
Do you have something that would fit?
I think so. It's not a child ballad, but it's a long narrative and sufficiently miserable.
I think on a few criteria that sounds like it could work.
Brilliant. Oh, give me a second. This is a version of The Lakes of Cool Finn. I got it principally from Len Graham, and it's based in the Loch Inchylin in Derry. But I got a couple of verses from Tom Lenihan from Milton Malbay as well. So. 'Twas early one morning, young Lennox he awoke, and straight to his comrade's bedchamber he did go, saying, arise, comrade, and let no one know. 'Tis a fine summer's morning, a-bathing we will go. They journeyed together, 'twas all down by a lane, and the first man they met was the keeper of the game. A crying turned back and saw, oh, turn back again, and for your fate is still dying the Loch Inchylin. But young Willie, he stripped off and he swam the lake all round. He swam for the island, but no island found. A crying, comrade, dear comrade, do not venture in. They are fair and false waters in the Loch Inchylin. It was not long after Willie's sister she awoke. She ran to her mamma and sadly she spoke, saying, I dreamt a sad dream about our Willie here last night. He came to my room in a shroud of snow white. It was not long after Willie's father he came there. He swam round the island like a man all in despair, and then the boats they were lowered and the strong lines were let down, and a few minutes later Willie Lennox he was found. The day of his funeral, it was a dreadful sight to see 24 turned to young men, and they all dressed in white. They carried his coffin in the grave they did lay, and bidded you to young Willie, and then all marched away. Then Willie's mother, she stepped out, and she ran down to the lake, and she called out for Willie, and she wept all for his sake. Was there nobody there when my Willie fell in to the deep and false waters of the Loch Inchylin? 'Twas back in the bushes Willie's comrade he laid low, a grieving for Willie in sad grief and woe. No more round Coal Island will he roam at his ease. He must wait by the lochside till Willie's soul can be at peace. The Loch Inchylin.
That was lovely, Dara. And I think you're right. You know, a coffin in a grave, and that's the qualifications that we need. Could Ian Russell, are you with us?
Yes,
Calling
Chris.
Ian Russell?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Great.
Would you give us a ballad?
Yeah, I'd love to. Another ballad about babies. My wife calls this the complicated baby song, which isn't what Child called it, or Peter Buchan. They called it the White Fisher for reasons best known to themselves. But anyway, I like the complicated baby song. And it comes from Bell Duncan of Lamb Hill by Inch. It was recorded by James Madison Carpenter between 1931 and 1932. "'Tis but a month and it is nae mair since first I married thee, and there is a baby atween your sides, and I'm sure it's nae to me. Is it by a lord, or is it by a laird, or ony a high degree, or is it by ane o' your father's merry men? Come, love, you can tell me. It's nae by a laird, and it's nae by a lord, nor ony a high degree, but it's by ane o' my father's merry men, and an ill death may he dee. It was my father's kitchie boy, atween the kitchie and the ha. He's placed his hands on my shoulders, and he's forced me against the wa'. Gang to your bower, my lily flower, till all your months are deen, and sometimes you read of the good books, and sometimes sew at the seam. And I'll gang out on a bonny boat, I'll sail across the main, and be it wet or be it dry, that time I will be hame. Well, it fell out upon a day, in labour she fell by, and her good lord in another other room, well, he heard his lady sigh. Had my young son been to my good Lord, he would have eased my moan. Had my young son been to my good Lord, he wouldna hae been and gone. Well, up he rose and in he goes, and it was to ease her moan. Up he rose and in he goes, and he saw her bonny young son. Tak my young son in your arms, tak him away fae me. Tak my young son in your arms, and throw him in the sea. Guinea sink, let him sink, Guinea swim, let him swim, but never ever let him come here again, ere white fish he bring hame. Well, he's ta'en her young son in his arms, and he's held him tae his breast, and he is awa tae his mother's bower, where she was taking her rest. Come doon, my mother dear, come doon and let me in, for the dew falls on my yellow, yellow hair, and it's wetting my bonny young son. I tell't you this, my son Willie, afore you went there to woo, that yon lady wasna maiden true. This truth I tell to you. But mother, you ken I had another sweetheart when I was across the sea. She was a king's daughter, and this baby she sent to me. If this be true, my son Willie, as that I think it be, there'll be nae mair harm done to your bonny son than ever was done to thee. But mind you this, my mother dear, when we come here to dine, you may aye be merry with my bonny young son, but never ever call him mine. Well, up he rose and away he goes, as fast as he could gang, and when he came to his lady's bower, he heard her makin' her moan. My young son's to the white fishing, and he's o'er young for the sea, and long, long, long will I seek for fish, ere any fish he bring me. My young son's to the white fishing gain, and he's o'er young for the fame, and long, long, long will I seek for fish, ere ony fish he bring hame. Gang to your bed, my dear one, he said. Gang to your bed, said he. Gang to your bed, my lily flower, and a drink I'll mak for thee. I winna gang to my bed, said she, nor a drink will I tak for thee, for they that would droon my bonny young son will surely poison me. Hold your tongue, my dear, dear one, say nae such ill on me. Your young son's at my mother's bower, and he's sitting on his nurse's knee. Hold your tongue, my lily flower, think nae such ill on me. There'll be nae mair harm done to your bonny son than ever was done to me. And when we gang to my mother's bower, as off we'll gang there to dine, you may kiss your son, you may hold your son, but never ever call him thine. If this be true, my good Lord, This day now well I'll be, if it hadna come fae you, my good Lord, it never could have come fae me. Blessings on your cheek, blessings on your chin, blessings on your red ruby lips, for you're aye a woman's friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. I'm going to sing one myself here, I think. So a ballad about the exercise of power over petty issues. Oh, boot you as the winds blow cold and the round tables begin. There has come to your king's court Mony's the Wilford man. The queen looked o'er the castle wall and beheld both dale and doon. And there she spied young Waters come sounding through the town. His footmen they did run afore, his horsemen rade ahind. A mantle o' the burning gold to keep him fae the wind. Gowd and harnessed his horse before, and silver shod ahind. And the horse young Waters rade upon was swifter than the wind. And up and spoke a wily lord, and to the queen said he, "Oh, tell me whas is the fairest face rides in yon company?" Oh, I've seen lords and I've seen lairds, and next so high degree, but young Waters has the fairest face that ever mine did see. And up and spoke the jealous king, and an angry man was he. And though he has the fairest face, ye michty accepted me. You're neither lord nor laird, she said, but the king wha wears the crown. And there's no a nicht in all Scotland, but afore ye must bow down. But for all the queen would do or say, a peace he wouldna be, and for the words the queen did speak, young Waters he mun dee. And they hated young Waters and put fetters on his feet. And they ta'en young Waters and thrown him in dungeon deep. Oft hae I ridden through Stirling town in the wind and in the wet, but I never rode through Stirling town with fetters on my feet. Oft hae I ridden through Stirling town and the wind beat on the rain. But I never rode through Stirling town, never to return again. And they ta'en to the Heaton Hill, his horse beat on to saddle. And they ta'en to the Heaton Hill, his young son in his cradle. And they ta'en to the Heaton Hill, his lady fair to see. And for the words the Queen did speak, young Waters he did deep. Young Waters. And can I ask Michael if he would sing a ballad? Are you there, Michael?
I am. I gather you're talking about me. Yes, as always, wonderful to be part of this amazing community. And picking up on where Judith Cohen left off with the Sephardic ballad, as usual, I'm going to sing a song out of the other great European Jewish tradition, that of the Yiddish world of Jewish Eastern Europe. Sorry, I'm getting some sound from somewhere else that I'm not sure what it is, but okay. As many of you, I've learned most of the deep songs I know directly from people. And in this case, once again, I'm going to sing a song from the repertoire of Bronya Sakina, who was a part of the Soviet Jewish emigration to the U.S. She came originally from a shtetl in southwestern Ukraine, which in Yiddish is called Olbanisk, and only came to the U.S. in 1980, as part of the Soviet Jewish emigration. And people like her, older Jews from the more rural areas of especially southwestern Ukraine and what's now northern Moldova, were often kind of time capsules for those of us, especially in North America, who were involved in Yiddish culture. I mean, they brought an amazing, some of them, amazing repertoire of songs and dances and just Yiddish traditional culture that much of which had been lost in America. And I was going to say before that I wish in the Yiddish world, we had the kind of singing vitality that is present among all of you here. We do have a lot of new growth, particularly in the world of klezmer music, and of late, with young singers really seriously getting involved in Yiddish song and learning Yiddish and so forth. But in many ways, we're in a similar position as to, say, the Gallic and Irish traditions here in the Isles, where the language itself is not so much in decline in terms of Yiddish, but Yiddish is mainly situated in the Hasidic world, the ultra-Orthodox Jewish world now. And so maybe at some other point I can say more about that. Anyhow, this is a version of the motif that I know. I'm not sure which child ballad it is. I believe it's one of the child ballads. But to me, it's a version of the American ballad, Banks of the Ohio. And I probably sung it before at sometime in the festival. It's called Zwölf Zeger, which means 12 o'clock, midnight. And it tells the story of two suitors who are coming to meet each other. Interestingly, in this Yiddish version, they and in all the Yiddish versions I know of, they don't have Jewish names. They have kind of either Russian, Ukrainian, or some kind of not necessarily, as in this song, not necessarily identifiable names in terms of the man in the story. He's called Palmet, which is, we're not sure what it is. In another version, he's Bernard. But in any case, it's 12 o'clock late at night. Nothing's to be heard. The two of them are coming to meet each other, and Palmet says to Vierechka, the woman, the time has come now for you to tell me whether you'll marry me or not. And she says, I can't marry you. My parents don't want you. It's the old story. And at which point he pulls out a revolver, and shoots her, and the whole scene ensues where he kills her and is immediately filled with remorse, turns the gun around and shoots himself. But of course he doesn't die immediately, and he has time to say farewell to her and how much he regrets what he's done. And then the song takes a particularly Jewish turn and says, we hear Vera's mother on the eve of the holiday of Yom Kippur, saying and receiving the news and saying, come mourn and weep with me, all my friends, because I was supposed to go to Vera's wedding, and now I'm going to her funeral. And take a lesson from me that when your children fall in love, you don't meddle in their affairs because of the institution of arranged marriage and so forth, because this is the kind of thing that will result. I want to just add that what Lisa Null said before about the conciseness of the ballads in North America, in many Yiddish ballads, this is true too, that there's the bare bones of the story are told and not as much of the long, intricate detail. So it's left to us to put it together. Okay, so Tzvela Fazeger, spät bei Nacht. Noi Tzvela Fazeger, spät bei Nacht. Min erken Mensch, oi wie nit gehen. Min erken Mensch, oi wie nit gehen. Adort, geht sich Vierechke. In Palmeti, Tirakegen gehen. Adort, geht sich Vierechke. In Palmeti, Tirakegen gehen. Jetzt die Kim in die rechte Zeit. Adi darfst mir sagen, Jotzi nein. Adi darfst mir sagen, Jotzi nein. Ach, Jotzi nein, sag ich dir nicht. Weil meine Eltern, sie willen doch nicht. In meine Eltern, seid ihr noch stehen. Soll für dir kein Kolonisch werden. Hoe es pein mit dus der Erd, die Geschichte wird ihm stark verdrossen, die Geschichte wird ihm stark verdrossen. Rois gehobt, oder dem Revolver, in was ein Verechking geschossen. Rois gehobt, oder dem Revolver, in was ein Verechking geschossen. Hat sie nur geschossen. Geblieben liegen sie wie ein Stein, oi geblieben liegen sie wie ein Stein. Ruhig gekehrt unter dem Revolver, in Ort geschossen, sich allein. Aruivgi kervet, o teredeim revolver. In erogisho bosn zechalein. O jezero zeyech norgishosen. Die puli wat im nicht geht offen. Die puli wat im nicht geht offen. Adie, adie, mana teier Leben. Will schon mehr auf dir nicht laufen. Adie, adie, meine teuer Leben. Will schon mehr auf dir nicht laufen. Hoyer winki per auf der Nacht. Dimitro das Fleisch gegossen. Dimitro das Fleisch gegossen. Avis die Pesiere ist mir nie gekommen sogen. Als Motir Verechki geschossen. Avis die Pesiere ist mir nie gekommen sogen. Als Motir Verechki geschossen. Nehmt achtzenoif, meine Gitte Fran, nehmt acharuf in mir a Reihe, nehmt acharuf in mir a Reihe, echo gizol geyen, si veres cheyepe, o yes geyich sinir levaye, echo gizol geyen, si veres cheyepe, o yes geyich zinir levaye. Oy nem taxiri zinoif eligite fran. Elft mer veyenen klugen. Elft mer veyenen klugen. As eire Kinder wel bespielen. Kann der es ob der sei nicht suchen, als eure Kinder wollen Liebe spielen. Kann der es ob der sei nicht suchen. Nur sei mir moi, levire Tochter, Palme, die gewinnt bei mir der Schönste. Oi, Palme, die gewinnt bei mir der Schönste. Nur in Antoi ach keiner nicht schildig. Du hast geota ältere Schwester. Nur in Antoi ach keiner nicht schildig. Du hast eine ältere Schwester. Also. Thank you all.
Thanks, Michael. That was amazing. And I'm going to hand over to Jimmy now if he's managed to get himself settled out. Jimmy?
I think so.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're going to be hosting now.
You're there,
I'm
Jimmy.
hosting,
Fantastic. Glad you managed to make it.
Fantastical. Well, the reason I was jumping about, if you saw me, was I was looking for the charger for this thing.
No, nobody.
But I'll find it. No, okay. Right. I'd like to invite Isla to give us a song. Now, this is, or a ballad rather. This is Isla St. Clair, who, I don't know if you've heard the story, but we first met in something like 1963. She was just a wee child, and there was a folk song concert, a folk club concert in the Pollux Hall in Edinburgh. And there was a thing at that time called the Scottish Folk Federation, and it used to run, you know, wee tours for various people. You know, you would just, it was very informal. You would phone around, you say, well, we've got Louis Killen coming up to our club, will you take him? And we used to fix up, you know, he'd go to Aberdeen and go to Kirkcaldy and Dunfermline, that sort of thing. And so somebody organised, Scottish Folk Club Federation organised this concert that each club sent the residents to do a sort of like a half-hour spot, and Aberdeen sent a fantastic troupe of performers. Marshall Dow playing American blues from Aberdeen, and it was the first that most folk had heard of Norman Kennedy. Norman sang Bonnie Udney, I can remember it well, and then finished off their set with some Portapeel. But also that night was the 13-year-old Isla St. Clair at MacDonald, as she was then, and she did a stunning version of the Dowie Dens of Yarrow, and just the whole place just erupted when she was finished. And she went on to have a fantastic career, first as a singer and then as a television presenter, and still, of course, as a singer. And for a long time, she was accompanied on her tours by her mother, Zeta. And that was essential because all these long-haired, lusty folk singers were not to be trusted with a 14-year-old lassie in those days. So, but she's remained a friend, and it's great to see her joining in this weekend. So a song from you, Isla, please. Thank you. Are you there? Do we have to unmute Isla? She better be there after that introduction.
Pete, can you unmute?
I think after that introduction, she's just chosen to disappear.
Just gone. It's the story of my life. No wonder I'm sitting here in a shed in bloody Fife.
Well, you'll have, if she's gone for good, you'll have to save that introduction till another time.
Yeah, she was there a second.
Okay, well, has Morris sung yet? Morris Layden?
No.
Excellent. Morris, would you like to give us a song? Masquerading under the name of Jane Cassidy today, but never mind. Unmute him, Peter, if you would.
You just take the introduction you gave Isla there, you know.
I've just neutered nicely. Right. This is Kelly the Deserter. My parents and me could not agree on account of my night's rambling. They swore an oath and a solemn vow that I should leave their dwelling. It's to a fair I did repair in hopes to find a master, but to my grief I found one there, which makes me a bold deserter. I had not long been in the town when the sergeant came up to me. He says, "Me boy, what do you think if you would enlist with me, sir?" "Oh no, kind sir," the boy replies, "to enlist I am not willing." He says, "You will go neat and clean, so here now, take my shilling." It's to a tap room we did go, where we got liquor plenty. We drank away in merriment till the daylight was appearing. "Rise up, me boy," the sergeant cries, "for you are enlisted fairly, and tomorrow morning you'll march with me, and that will be right early." It's off to Newry I did go to pass the head inspector. I passed their doctors every one, no failure could they find in me. The height that I enlisted for was scarce 5'7". I measured their inches every one, I was 5'11".
The time I was making my exercise, the weather it being warm, I thought my very heart would break when I thought of sweet Loch Earn. They placed a stock around me neck, on me body a shell jacket. There's not a time that I look round, but the sad tears did flow from me. At 1 o'clock in the sentry box, I threw down my gun and bayonet. I said to myself I would desert while the guard room was silent. At 2 o'clock I made up my mind, to home I was going to return. I cleared the wall, made my way good, I was bound for sweet Loch Earn. I scarce had been 1 mile from town when I heard the drums a-beating. I looked around and there I spied 100 men a-waiting. I threw myself in a bunker deep, where the long green grass grew o'er me. They soon drew nigh and passed me by, and never spied young Kelly. Just when they were out of sight, I'm thinking I was free from danger. But on my way the police I met, and finding me a stranger, a pass they asked me had I got, or a prisoner would be taken, and likewise kept in custody for further information. It's when I had no pass to show, they swore an oath with fury that I had deserted straight, for my regiment was in Uri. With an oak stick I did them lick when the handcuffs were preparing. I beat the 3 right manfully and started for sweet Loch Earn. From the fatigue of the long way and no food had I eaten, the town that I had to shun for fear I should be taken. For 7 weeks in sickness lay, on the 11th week he was buried. His comrades took him away and led him near sweet Loch Earn. Thank you.
Jimmy?
Somebody spoke to me there. I was going to invite Ken and Peter, but perhaps Ken doesn't do ballads too much. I know Peter does. So you can make up your own mind whether it's both of you or just the one of you. But a song from you, please, from the middle of London. Can you unleash them, Peter?
Yeah, we'll probably do the shortest ballad of the afternoon, if
Yes.
that's all right.
This is a version of Poison in a Glass of Wine with Appalachian Mountains. We heard it from Garrett and Nora Arwood, a little old couple, and I'm thinking these days we're probably a little old couple ourselves. They have all crotchety old voices, and it's just a lovely short
You speak
version.
for yourself. Oh, by the way, before we start, Anne-Marie Boyle is on there somewhere. Happy birthday, darling. How are you? Okay,
Yeah,
right. Okay, let's go.
Thank you, Ken.
You're very welcome, man. Have a good day. Right. Come, little girl, let me both get married. I love you so well, gonna tell you what it means. I'll work for you both late and early, if my wedded little wife you be. Now, Willie dear, let's both consider, we're too young to get married now. When we're married, we're bound together. Let's stay single just one more year. He called us at the bar where he was drinking. Willie dear, what you want with me? Come drink wine with the one that loves you. Don't go with no one else but me. While they were at the bar a-drinking, a jealous thought came to his mind, to kill that girl, his own true lover. He gave her poison in a glass of wine. She leaned her head over on his shoulder. Willie dear, please take me home. That glass of wine that I've just drunken has gone to my head and done me wrong. She leaned her head over on his pillow. Let me tell you the truth, let me tell you my mind. Molly dear, I'm sorry to tell you, we both drank poison in a glass of wine.
Fantastic, great. Now, because I joined you a wee bit late, I might be slightly unsure of everybody who's sung.
Jimmy, I've sent you a chat to tell you who's I think is left.
Uh-huh.
So you'll
Could
be
you
able
tell me what it says on that? Because I'm not too clever on this, so.
well, as far as I can see, Liz Turnbull, Brendan Kennedy, Jane Cassidy, Alan Taylor.
I think Jane sang, but I'm not sure.
Jane didn't sing, and Liz asked
she
not
didn't.
to, but she might change her mind.
Right. Well, I was going to ask Liz next. Would you like to give us a song, Liz? Make her free, Peter.
Right, have to find it.
John.
There she is.
Oh. I'd like to, but I've had trouble with my throat, and I don't quite trust it for a longer ballad.
Okay.
So I'll pass. Thanks.
Okay, right. Thanks very much, Liz. Sorry to hear about your throat, but
yeah, it's just been a virus. Not the
a wee
virus,
a wee drop of whiskey is very good for that, I believe. I've
yeah,
been told anyway.
I tried it, but it didn't work, unfortunately.
Or just more. You just need to keep doing it until it works.
Yeah. It is gradually getting better, but not up to a ballad. Yes, I don't think.
Jimmy.
Yes, ma'am.
You'll see a late arrival is a friend of mine from Dublin called Brendan Kennedy.
I see his face there. Yes, hi, Brendan. Maybe we could have a song from Brendan then.
Oh,
great. Right, tell us a wee bit about yourself, Brendan.
Well, I'm a friend of Chris Moyles anyway, at least you know
Well,
that.
there you go. That's good enough for me.
I can't see you, Chris, by the way. Why are you hiding?
Nobody can see anybody as far as I know, Brendan. We've all been singing into black spaces all day, but actually I have to say it concentrates the hearing marvelously if you're not distracted by, haircuts and handsome faces and things.
Zoom is having a problem worldwide, we're told.
Don't go on about the haircut, Chris. Jeez, I badly need one. I was watching actually most of the afternoon on Facebook. I was watching all the different people who weren't able to get on Facebook. It was some fantastic people weren't able to get on. But and luckily enough, I didn't even know what the Zoom details were. But I slyly texted Jerry O'Reilly in the background. So he gave me all the details.
You have to stick together, you Dubliners.
Yeah. Actually, I'm only abroad from, I'm actually in Maynooth, which is the centre of the ecclesiastical centre of the Catholic Church in Ireland. God comes here on his holidays, so Zoom works there.
Of course it does. God bless you.
Well,
okay,
Brendan, someone did suggest the reason why Zoom wasn't working was because it was Sunday. The churches were busy Zooming.
Maybe so, maybe so.
Jimmy, just to catch you while I'm not muted. Also, there's Jerry Simon who'd been trying to get.
Oh, is Jerry not sung yet? Grand. I've got him on my sites. Yeah.
Battering at the door for hours.
Yep.
Okay, I won't delay, so I'll just
right, crack on.
Okay. As I rode out, oh, that's the wrong song. Can I get it? As I rode out on a bright May morning to view the meadows and the flowers gay, who should I spy but my own true lover, as she sat under a willow tree. I took off my hat and I did salute her. I did salute her most courageously. When she turned around, all the tears fell from her, saying, "False young man, you have deluded me. A diamond ring you swore you would give to me, a diamond ring to wear on my left hand. But the vow you made, oh, you went and broke it, and married the lassie with gold and land. If I marry the lassie with gold and land, my love, it's that I will rue until the day I die. But when gold it shines, sure a man is blinded, and the land my head turned I'll not deny. But at night when I go to my bed of slumber, the thoughts of my true love run in my mind. When I turn around to embrace my darling, instead of gold, sure it's brass I find. And I'm going away now to join the army in the West Indies, America or Spain, and I'll ne'er return to my wedded woman, in hopes that you and I might meet again. When I rove out on a bright May morning That's it. Thank you.
That was lovely, Brendan.
Thanks, Chris.
We've got people joining us. Jimmy, are
Help
you?
me. I'm wondering if Alan Taylor's sung yet.
No, he hasn't.
Excellent. We'll go back and have a Scottish ballad from Alan then. Here he is.
You're right, Jimmy. It will be Scottish. You're quite
You're
correct.
live now.
Thank you.
Worldwide television.
I've had to duck in and out this afternoon, so I hope this hasn't been sung already. But this is
me too.
This is a Northeast ballad. Happy ending for once. So it's anyway, it's Glenn Logie, and this is a version I got for Jock Duncan.
Great.
There were 9 and 9 nobles rode through by Crieff Fair, and bonny Glen Logie was a floor o' them there. There were 6 and 6 maidens dined at the King's Ha. Bonny Jean o' Bethelny was a floor o' them a'. Doon came Jeanie Meldrum, she come trapping downstairs, gone in love wi' Glen. That was there. Well, she's called on her footboy, who walked by his side. Spirit eyes that young man, she by Bonny Jean's title Glen Logie, when he is at home, and he's o' the noble gardens, Lord John is his name. Glen Logie, you'll be constant and kind, for I've laid my love on ye, for your eye on my mind. We'll eat thunder and lichtly as the gardens dia. Said I thank you, Jeanie Meldrum, but your tochers are sma. Well, she called on her maidens to make up her bed, aye, wi' napkins and ribbons to tie up her head. Nu her father said, "O Jeanie, ach, this just one a day, ach, I'll wad ye to Dunwindle, for he's mair gowd than he." Oh, Nana, dear father, let poor Jeanie be, if I canna hae Glen Logie, for him I will die. Nu her father had a chaplain, a man o' great skill, and he's penned a braid letter, and indited it weel. Oh, pox on your Logie, oh, must this be so? Bonny Jean o' Bethelny, must she die in her woe? When Logie got the letter, oh, lach he. But when he read the letter, a sad tear blent his eye. Gae saddle the black horse, gae saddle the brown, Bonny Jean o' Bethelny, she'll be dead ere I win. When Logie reached Bethelny, oh, there was nothing there, aye, but weeping and wailing, vexation and care. For pale and wan was she, when Logie come in, but red and rosy grew she, when she kent it was him. Turn round, Jeanie Meldrum, turn to your side, for I'll be the bridegroom, if you'll be my bride. Now Jeanie's got married, and her daughters done told, bonny Jean o' Bethany, scarce 16 years old. Bethany, Bethany, you shine for you stand, may the heather bells ring ye, shine our 5 E's lands. Glen Boogie, version with Jock Duncan. Thank you.
Jimmy?
He's disappeared.
Oh, I'm there now. Yes, here I am. Yeah, well
I tell
sung,
you who's
Alan.
left?
I'm thinking we would have a song now from Jane, and then a song from Jerry.
And have you sung yourself?
Jimmy,
no, I haven't sung.
You should have it, Jimmy. You should have a song, and we've just had Anita Best join us from Newfoundland, so you can
wow.
certainly come to her, if not the last song, before the end, anyway.
Right. Okay. Well, in that case, would we like to have
go with what you
Jane
suggested
now? Yeah.
Go with what you suggested, and then that's fine. And then sing.
Okay, doke. There you are, Jane. Would you give us a song, please, or a ballad, rather?
Yeah,
There you are.
sure.
You're live.
Okay, thanks, Jimmy. This is one I learned from the singer. Jimmy McBride gave me this with made me promise to sing it as a lament, and it's a song in Irish. So I'll give you. It's not particularly long ballad, but it's a very dramatic story told very economically. And basically, a young woman is asleep on the seashore, and she wakes to find her long golden hair has been tied into the seaweed, and the tide is coming in, and she's drowning. And she calls out to another woman who's there with her, asking her to release her and save her. And the other woman says, "Oh no, you're none of my kith and kin. I'm not going. This is the day you're going to drown here on Ballylaw." And the woman who's drowning then says, "Would you take pity on me? I have one child. I have 2 children. I have a third who's drowning with me here." And she was pregnant, and this child had its head in foam, as she said. And then she says, "Go and tell my father, my mother, my husband that I'm drowning here on Ballylaw." And she says, "Tomorrow my father will come and find me like a bloated, pale salmon on the beach. And the woman who takes my place will have white rooms and shining windows." So it's very dramatic.
Neil McGill a he go no ma farge is the cats Calan hu begagam a he go agus lele begela skilla the maher a he go stam her a star ma flamja power kjoi on Chucky Maher, I go, the Claudia Mara, you wish and bread and milk, boycha, and my knock me in a brioi. He go chuck this matzah Shemri benekti fahurkyoy August when yogi galanya and Maya from Jimmy McBride. Thanks very much.
Lovely. That's excellent. Now, I'd like to have Jerry to invite Jerry Simon to give us a song. First came across Jerry away a long, long time ago down in Whitby, and he came into one of the sessions I was involved in, and he just won the prize for the songwriter that year at Whitby. So he was very, very chuffed, and he sang beautifully. So a song from you, Jerry, please. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Has anyone sung? I couldn't get any sound for hours. Has anybody sung the Dowie Denzel Yarrow?
Yes, I'm afraid so. Aye.
Okay. Has anyone sung The Grey Cock?
No.
No.
Great.
No?
Good.
I'll have a go at that one. Hold on. Oh, how's it go? Got it, yeah. I must be going, no longer staying. This stormy tempest I have to cross. I must be guided without a stumble into the arms I love the most. And when he came to his true love's window, he's knelt down quietly upon a stone, and through the window he's whispered lowly, my darling dear, do you lie alone? She raised her head from her down soft pillow, and snowy were her milk-white breasts. Who's there at my bedroom window, disturbing me from my sleep and rest? 'Tis I, your own dear lover. I praise you, rise, my love, and let me in, for I am weary from my long night's journey, and I am wet, love, unto my skin. So she arose and put on her clothing. With heart a-fluttering, she let him in. They kissed, took hands, and embraced together, till that long night was 3/4 gone. Oh, Willie dear, oh, dearest Willie, Where is that colouring you'd long ago? Oh, Mary dear, the clay has changed me. I am no longer your sweet William O. And it's cock, oh handsome cockerel, I pray you to crow not before the day. Your wings I'll make of the finest beaten gold, and your comb I'll fashion from the silver grey. But the cock it crew, and it crew so fully. It crew 3 hours before the day, before the dawn her love had to leave her. Not by the light of moon, nor by the light of day. And when she saw her love disappearing, tears down her pale cheeks in streams did flow. He said, weep not for me, dear Mary, I am no longer your William. And it's Willie dear, oh dearest Willie, whenever shall I see you again? When fishes fly, love, and the sea runs dry, love, and the rocks all melt in the heat of the day. When the sea runs dry, love, and small fishes fly, love, but you know that day it will never be.
Great, lovely. Excellent. Thanks very much, Jerry. That's beautiful. Great ballad, that. Well, we've got, I think, Anita.
How about you, Jimmy?
Okay, I'll do one, and then we could maybe ask Anita to finish off with a ballad from Newfoundland. I'll try and keep the spirits up a wee bit. Nobody dies. I don't know if anybody's keeping a body count. Tom Spears and I used to keep a body count in these sessions, and I think the best one was over 100 one year. But I think there was a battle in it at some stage. Anyway, there's nobody dies in this. Now it fell on a time when a proud king of France gaed hunting for 9 months or more, that his daughter fell in love with Thomas o' Wainsbury, frae Scotland newly come o'er, frae Scotland newly come o'er. When the king come home frae hunting the deer, his daughter afore him come, her belly it was bang, her twa sides round, and her fair colour it was one. Her fair colour and 'twas one. Nu, what ails ye, my daughter Janet? What makes ye look sae wan? Ye either been sick or very, very sick, or else ye lain wi' a man, or else ye lain wi' a man. Nu was it te a man o mecht, or was te a man o min, or was it te yon rank robbers frae Scotland newly coming frae Scotland newly coming. Oh, it was nae te a man o mecht, nor was te a man o min, but it was te Thomas o Winesbury, and for him I suffer pain. For him I suffer pain. Nu, when Thomas come to stand afore the king, his sark was so the silk, his hair hung down like strands o' gold, and his skin was like the milk, his skin was like the milk. Nay wonder, said the king, that my daughter fell in love with ye. For if I was a woman, as I am a man, your band fellow I would be. Your bad fellow I would be. Nu, it's will ye marry my daughter Janet, by the truth, O year right hand, and will ye marry my daughter Janet, and bear te o my land, and bear te o my land. Oh yes, I will marry your daughter Janet, but I care not for your land, for she be's the queen, and I be's the king. When we return to fair Scotland, when we return to fair Scotland. It's Thomas O'Winesbury, and I learnt that from the singing of the late, great David Brady. So I'm sure you applauded fantastically there. I'd like now to invite to finish what has been a fantastic session. Would invite one of our former guests from a few years ago now from Newfoundland. A lovely welcome for Anita Best. Thank you very much. Are you there, Anita?
Yes, thank you very much, Jimmy.
There you go.
I sent you a note to say that my mum used to sing this song, my mother.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, she called it a young barber. The fellow's name was Barber in the song, and he came down the stairs tripping down, his skin as white as milk. His teeth were like the ivory bright, and his skin so smooth as silk. Isn't that lovely?
Just like all Scotsmen, that, yeah.
I've been waiting for a fellow like that myself. So I thought maybe I'd sing a song for you. I couldn't get on earlier, and I missed a great deal of the singing, but I'm glad that I finally did get on. And I thought I'd sing a song for you that I learned from the singing of a lady, Annie Walters, who lived here in Grossmoor National Park, where I live in Newfoundland. And she was the daughter of a lighthouse keeper in Rocky Harbour, and she learned a lot of her songs from her father and her mother. They used to keep the light, and the light, by the way, was made in Scotland, as many of the lights in the lighthouses in Newfoundland were. And this is a song that she became quite well known for. It's called "The Maid on the Shore." It's an old ballad. 'Twas of a young lady, she lived all alone. She lived all alone on the shore. Oh, there was nothing she could find for to comfort her mind, but to roam all alone on the shore, 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 but to roam all alone on the shore. Now 'twas of a young captain, he sailed the salt sea. Let the winds blow high and blow low, low. I will die, this young captain did cry, if I can't have that maid on the shore, 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 if I can't have that maid on the shore. I have lots of silver, I have lots of gold. I have lots of costly ware. Oh, I'll divide with my jolly ship's crew, if they'll row me that maid from the shore, 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 if they'll row me that maid from the shore. After long persuadance, they got her on board. Let the wind blow high and blow low, low. Where he placed her a chair in his cabin below. Here's adieu to all sorrow and care, care, care. Here's adieu to all sorrow and care. She sat herself down in his cabin below. Let the winds blow high and blow low, low. Where she sang so sweet, so neat and complete. She sang captain and sailors to sleep, sleep, sleep. She sang captain and sailors to sleep. Then she robbed them of silver, she robbed them of gold. She robbed them of costly ware, oh, and she stole his broadsword, which she used for an oar, and she paddled her way to the shore, 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 and she paddled her way to the shore. Now were my men crazy, or were my men drunk? Or were my men sunk in despair? Oh, for to let her go away with her beauty so gay, and to ramble alone on the shore, 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 and to ramble alone on the shore. Your men were not crazy, your men were not drunk, your men were not sunk in despair. Oh, I deluded your sailors as well as yourself, and I'm a maid once again on the shore, shore, shore. I'm a maid once again on the shore. That's it. Thank you very much for inviting me.
That was great. Fantastic. That's fantastic. Jimmy's just asked me to start speaking here because his battery's just gone in his iPad. But at least Jimmy got on, which was fantastic. That's great. I think Jimmy may still be on. I'm not sure, but I'm
not sure either.
There you are. You're there with words only now instead of picture.
Excellent.
Anyway,
Well,
I'm going to open Chris's microphone as well, if it will.
I am open.
You are open. Well,
Yep.
basically, this has been run jointly by Jimmy Hutchison in Newborough, myself in Belmalcolm, and Chris in Kirkcaldy, with some considerable difficulty because the internet that Zoom was dealing with was having considerable problems, not just here, I believe right across the world, in Brazil, in America, in France, and so on. But we eventually managed to get everyone working, although we can't really see everyone sometimes. But what a fantastic afternoon of ballads we've had. It's fantastic for everyone. I tell you what we've decided, I think, to do on Midsummer's Day. Have another?
Yeah.
So we may do that. 21st of June. So thanks for everyone being here. What a great afternoon we've had.
Could I just say that for anybody who's feeling that they missed a fair chunk of this, it is on Facebook. You can get the whole concert, I think, on Facebook, and I think you'll got visuals.
Yes, I was told the same. But we will run an ordinary singing session, not just the child ballads, not just the narrative ballads. We will just have a nice singing session, I think. We will decide, and it's just great and so easy to run. We just have to sit at our dining room table or wherever. I haven't had a glass of wine. I should have had, maybe. One could have a glass of wine, cups of tea. I've had a cup of coffee. I expect everyone else is doing similar things. I think we will probably run it in the afternoon, but we could run it in the evening. We'll decide. And we'll send out the email as we have done this time. Chris, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I just think for me, I've just loved every minute of it.
Quite so, yeah.
Different, but in many ways, perhaps it's strange to say, but perhaps more intimate.
It is.
This afternoon has been odd. I've often thought, if you sing songs with your eyes shut, I've often had this fantasy that when I open my eyes, there's no one in the room. They've all tiptoed out while I was singing. And I've no idea how many people are still out there listening listening to Jimmy and Pete and I. Perhaps you've all gone. But please don't go forever. Make sure that whatever we're doing, that you come back and share it with us, because you just gave us an absolutely wonderful buzz.
Well, it's interesting. When one actually meets traditional singers, not trying to be entertainers, you are singing face to face with people very often. And I remember hearing of a singer down in Gloucestershire where the collector, wasn't me in this particular case, collected songs from a particular singer, and the singer said, he was asked how he'd learned his songs. He says, Well, I just sit them across the table in a pub. We just sing to each other. That's how he had learned all his songs. So singing across the table, as we seem to be doing here, straight eye to eye, maybe you've got your eyes shut, but it just is a very personal way. And in fact, in some ways, it's much more personal and straight person to person than it is in a concert type of situation. I think it's fantastic. And it doesn't cost anything to do. There we are.
And there's no queuing when you have to go to the toilet.
No. So I'm going to open the mic for everyone now. You can unmute yourselves if you wish. We did this last night, and people can chat. Just whoever wants to speak, just speak. We can chat to each other for a few minutes before we close down.
Like Dara, you want to speak?
Huh?
You want to speak? Your wee lights came on there.
Oh no, I just unmuted myself as everyone did. But yeah, if I can speak on behalf of the group, thanks so much to all three of you and to all the wonderful singers. It's been an absolutely wonderful weekend. I think I can speak for everyone when I say that. And yeah, thanks for having us. And we'll see you on the 21st of June.
Right.
Great. Thank you for singing as well, McDara. It was just excellent singing. Yeah.
Can we all give Peter, Chris, and Jimmy a round of applause? Now we can give her.
What have we got to thank for this? There's two things we have to thank for this: a horrible disease that's spreading around the world, and Zoom. You know, what can we say? Fate. I mean, this is just the way the world can sometimes work. We will carry on doing this because I'm sure I'm not going to go into a place with hundreds of other people for some considerable number of months. That's the way I feel about it.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Safe, everybody.
Yeah, everybody's safe.
Bye.
We need you at midsummer.
Yes.
Hello.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
now.
Bye, John, across there in the States. Thanks.
Bye. Bye.
It's so much less hassle than travel by air.
It is. It is. It doesn't cost anything.
You don't have to put up with or anything.
John Roberts, can you hear me?
I think he's just signed out.
Right. Thanks so much, everybody. It's wonderful.
Thank you, John.
Coming in right at the name. I got a Katie McLean coming in. I don't know. She just joined us right at the end there, but not to worry. Another time.
Thank you very much, John and Peter and Jimmy, for organising this.
I think we've enjoyed it.
Great. It's been great fun.
We didn't think it was going to get off the ground earlier on this afternoon, but there we go. We got there.
Oh, damn it, I used to have John's fucking phone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, but you can't really see it.
Oh, thank you, FifeSing. That's nice. Annie Boyle. Can you pass along that thing from Arthur's room? That's this thing again, and I'll show it again. I'm just going to show you Arthur Watson's bit of artwork, which I showed last night, and I'm going to show it again.
Oh, yeah, I want to see it again.
Even although we can't see it, Pete.
I'm going to show you it in a minute. Arthur Watson doesn't agree with this kind of technology, so he has his wonderful art studio that he built himself in the middle of Perth, a 3-story building with his art studio, and anyway, it doesn't really matter exactly, but it's a big building, and he lives there by himself, and he's got wonderful printing machines and printing technology. This is him. Be in. You see it? Be in. Sing out. So that's him. Be in, sing out. Be in, sing out.
Some of us can't see it, Peter.
You really can't. That's a pity. Whatever. I
shall last night, I think. Yeah.
I shall go in to speak of you. Oh, there we are. No, it isn't working. Anyway, you've seen this. Oh, there you are.
It's in reverse.
It may not be. It may not be when it's there. No, it's not when you see it there. Be in.
Be in.
Sing out. With a little message from Arthur at the bottom. He refused to get this technology going, so there we are. We could have had some nice ballads from him. Graham has entered the waiting room. I think Graham probably. I'll enter him, then he can go. Hello, Graham. We're all just leaving.
Hiya.
We're just signing out.
All right. Well, Pete, thanks very much for that. It was a great weekend. Excellent.
Thanks for your help.
Excellent weekend.
Thanks, Graham. Yeah.
Well organised as well. Good.
Right.
See you soon, guys.
Yep. Okay. Cheers, Graham. See you soon.
Farewell,
Yes.
everybody.